No, well, she gave me an introduction. I was going to have a funny that I told everyone that I was Dak Prescott from the Cowboys, and that I apologize about the last 2 weeks, for what happened. But I did feel bad for the Cowboys. They really dropped the ball out there. They will, yeah, no pun intended. I felt terrible. I felt terrible for Dak and the Cowboys. Everybody berated them and just destroyed them with their words. It was very negative. So I wanted to go out there and rescue them, and get out there and help those guys. But I came a couple of years ago and I gave a talk about goals and a bit of goal setting and a goal wheel. And it was so impactful that they brought me back 2 years later, which is a joke. See, that's kind of funny. It's 2 years. So but today, I'm going to be speaking today, and then I'll come back next week more about goals and the steps to get to an individual goal. If we have a roadmap to get somewhere, we can get there. If it's a pie in the sky, we want to get to Chicago, and we don't even know where we're starting. And when we want to get to Chicago, it's probably not going to happen. But if we have a roadmap, we can get there. Today, I want to talk about time, the invaluable gift that we have from God with time. And also, I want to talk about vision. And people, in today's age, we got so much garbage going on in the world that a lot of people have a lack of vision, what's happening, where they want to go, what they want to do, and the goals that they set. A lot of people have New Year's resolutions, and I read online that it's 91% of those resolutions will fail, and they happen quickly. Because a resolution is really kind of a dream, and there's a difference in a dream and a goal. And some people do have goals, and some people don't have those goals mapped out. So this is really good news. I mean, if we have a roadmap to where we want to go with that goal, we can achieve it. My wife just had a birthday last week, so I just wanted to say happy birthday to my wife. I love my wife so much, and my kids. She's my ride or die. She's my best friend, and she's the best mama. So out of all the people in the world, I found the one person that just gave me so much happiness and joy. So every time I'm in front of somebody, I want to tell them about my wife. I love my wife so much, and my kids equally the same. I'm going to celebrate a birthday next month. It's January, right? So next month I'll be 50. And thank you so much. So it's hard to believe that I'll be 50 in my mind because I'm still in my 20s. I haven't grown up in a lot of ways. I'm very immature with the kids, and I don't even know where I get some of the crap that I do with the kids. But time has rapidly gone through my hands. It's something that I can't grasp. I'm trying to pump the brakes, especially as those kids are little, man, and it's just rocketing me forward. And it kind of stinks, but time is a gift from God. And one of the greatest lies that we've ever been taught from the time we were kids, that we've heard from our parents, we've heard from teachers, we've heard from people all around us, is that time is money. And it's a complete lie. It's not true at all. We are saying, when we say time is money, we're saying that time is equal to money. And we're taking something that's a gift from God, which is time, and we're valuing that thing to be equal with money. And money is something that man has created, and we're making it equal to a powerful gift. The most beautiful gift we have from God is time. So those things don't translate. So I don't want us in our mind this year to be so quick to say time is money. Because we are quick in this nation. I can only speak for this nation because I'm from here. I can't speak for the whole world. We are quick to go out and give our time to a company, to our business, so that we can get money from that time. And it's actually backwards. That concept is really backwards from the Bible. What we are supposed to use that time for is to redeem our time back. And Ephesians 5:15, God says in his word, he says, be very careful then how you live, not as unwise, but as wise, making the most of every opportunity because the days are evil. I did not want to come here and preach to you guys. I'm not a pastor. I'm not a preacher. But this is powerful. He says to be careful how you live. To live as a wise man, making the most of every opportunity because the days are evil. He is saying that the time that we have has rapidly closing. From the time he started mankind, I think Noah lived 950 years. That's hard to believe that a man would almost live 1,000 years. I believe it. All my coins are in. I believe every word from this book. And as sin entered in the world, time has rapidly just gone down a funnel. Mankind has lived shorter and shorter and shorter. And I think it was Abraham, he lived 147 years. And that was a long time ago. Now we're making it to 80. 90 is a long time to live. So we've got to use our time wisely. And that's where vision comes in as well. We have to have a vision for the future. We have to have our goals written out for what we want to achieve this year. And we're all business owners. We all have to use our time wisely. So we should have that vision. We should have that goal and the appetite to seize the day. And every opportunity I get with my kids when I'm praying with them in the morning, because she's usually got the morning, but if I've got them and I'm taking them to school, I tell them as often as I can. I said, today we get to write on paper what type of person we're going to be today. So today we choose to have an excellent attitude. We're going to be excellent people, and we're going to represent God's kingdom as best we can. And I fail at that all the time. Actually, my life has been a history of past failures and a short window of some success. But at the right young age of 50, I'm starting to try and figure these things out. And that's what's really helped me. What kind of information goes in my mind, what I think about, what's predominantly in my mind, and what's going on paper. Habakkuk in the Bible says to write your vision down on paper. And let me find that real quick, guys. I had this is fantastic. Habakkuk. And see, this tells you that I'm not a pastor because I have to look everything up. Do you guys write down goals? Is that anything that y'all do?
Yes.
Good. 1587. This is golden right here. This is gold. I had tabs in here, but I must have taken them out. This in this Habakkuk here, this says to write your goal down clearly on paper. And when those goals are implemented, not only can you hit your goals if those things are implemented, but Habakkuk says to give it to your team, which is your family or your business, your colleagues that you work with. So this year, I want to write out our goals for our business for 2024, which we are doing that right now. And not only that, but I want to have strategic timelines of when we're going to hit those things. It's a roadmap. Like I said, if Adrian called me and said, hey, I need help, I need to get to Chicago, I would ask Adrian, where are you? And if Adrian said, I don't know, then I can't get him to Chicago. We would have no idea how to get there. So we have to evaluate where we are as individual, as parents, and as business owners, where we're at right now. We're going to take account for all the negative and all the positive that happened from last year, figure out where we're at and where we want to go. If we were $1 million generating business and we want to hit 2 million, we can hit that goal, We just have to have steps and procedures to get there from the floor up all the way up to the top. To hit all those goals, to make sure everything is done, we've got limited time. But the time that we have is very precious. We have to know what's going in our mind, what we're feeding our mind. Every time we turn on the TV, we see war, we see famine, political upheaval. We see all this mess going on in the world. And 2024 is going to be a very interesting year. It's going to be a very, very interesting year, y'all. Mark my words. I'm not talking about politics. I think that God is going to start exposing some of the darkness and putting people on trial, things like that. So this is an opportunity. What I'm getting at is we're going to have an opportunity this year to stand out and to be a light. We've got opportunity to seize that goal and to obtain everything that we need to, and it's going to be an awesome year. If we were thinking of our mind as our house, and let's imagine we're in our house watching TV, and someone came in with a big trash can and dumped all their trash in the living room right in front of us. We'd get upset, right? Sometimes the stuff that we think about and the things that we watch are so full of trash that it's dumped into our mind. And if we don't clean that trash up, it's going to rot and it's going to affect the whole house. So we have to check ourselves and to see what's actually happening in our mind and to try and clear those things out. We do that through prayer. We do it through writing down things like this. And again, I am not trying to preach, right? I am not trying to do that. But we do have to check ourselves. No one else is going to do that. We have to formulate a plan, and we have to watch what's going on in our mind, and we have to have an exit strategy to clean that stuff out. And really, we can clean out things physically. We can try and clean those things out physically, and then God does the supernatural. So it's an awesome marriage. Vision-wise, goal-setting-wise, and I don't want anybody to have to raise their hand or anything like that, but as business owners, have we written out what we want to do for next year? Have we thought about it or written it out? Has anybody done that?
Yeah.
Good. We just got our numbers from our taxes, which was a pain in the butt. We've been doing that. We thought
Since Friday straight.
Yeah, we thought we were on the same page and then we were off, but we got it. I think we got it.
I'm done. Whatever it is, it is what it is.
I think we got it.
I'm done.
We want to grow the business, obviously, and we want to bring more business in and do the whole thing, but we have plans we would like to possibly, hit a strategic number for next year. So we're going to write these things out, and we're going to get as close as we can, or maybe hit that goal and exceed it. But that thing written down, I'll talk to you guys more about it next week, but I want to talk to you guys about the goal that is compartmentalized in each area and how to hit all those, goals. Oh yeah. How many times have you guys written a goal down and have seen it come to pass? Anybody?
Few.
What did you have, sir?
Oh, actually, it was just it's interesting. There were things that I wanted to do in my life, just different things. I do it for work every year, and I carried it with me. So, and then I marked them off when things would happen, and it was pretty amazing things that I had not done or thought I would do.
Yeah.
I looked at the list one day and it was pretty much checked off.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's what she and I talk about. Heather and I talk about, the goal setting part of it. We've got to have an end goal, a lofty goal, something that maybe is kind of unobtainable. So we're shooting for the fence. But we also have to have the small goals. And Jim Rohn talks about when you hit a goal to reward yourself, right? So there's little rewards throughout the year.
And
We
he talks about to plan for that reward. Like
Right.
have it written down exactly when you reach this benchmark, what is that reward gonna be?
Yeah, if we're hitting singles, if we hit doubles, triples, and then home runs, and all these kind of sports analogies, but it's good to have those goals written out. It's good to reward ourselves for hitting those goals, and God has a plan for us to have hope and to succeed. So He is backing us up. He wants us to win. He wants us to succeed, and those things through prayer and writing those things out and achieving those goals, we can hit those things. So this is good news. This is going to be a good year for all of those people, everybody in this room, to work towards your goal and to hit those goals. I pray that everybody has a fantastic year, and not only to hit goals and to make revenue and all this and that, but that we would be better people this year. We would be better people in every area of our lives, and God has given us time. It's our most precious resource that we have. We cannot write a check for time. We can't pray and fast for more time. So the time that we are given is a huge, huge blessing from God. It's our most valuable asset, and the whole time is money thing is a huge lie. So I don't want us to focus on this year going out and trying to achieve to make money. Where's that money going? The whole thing. So, and I was guilty about that this year. I had goals, I had those things written out, and I wasn't focused on those goals. We hit a ton of them, but I was focused on building business and revenue and the whole thing. But this year, we're at a point now in our business to where I need to pay a person to come in and help us. And by me paying that person with money, I'm going to get my time back. And then with that time, we have plans to do certain things to build business and do the whole thing. So it's an exciting year. I wanted us to get, I hope I left you guys with some good news this morning. We need to write those goals out. Next week, I'll have some handouts, maybe bring some paper with you guys if y'all didn't this morning. A lot of y'all did. And we will walk through those things. We'll take compartmentalize, we'll take one section of that area, and I'll show you a strategic plan to hit or to write out for that goal, and then we can multiply that in different areas. So this is a formula that is biblical. He wants us to do it. He wants us to write down that goal in steps, and he wants us to implement those goals with our team, with our family. Most importantly for me is my wife and my kids, for us to hit goals as a family. So hopefully next week we can get on top of this thing. I'm sorry about today. I felt jumbled up for sure, but we've been just throttling down and just hauling buns to get this thing done. But next week we will have a little bit more time. It'll be a little bit more polished for the goal setting next week. Do you have anything else, babe?
I actually do. So you're kind of talking about time, and what comes to mind for me is work smarter, not harder. So if you have a plan and a roadmap, because sometimes we can bust our tail all day and then get home and say, was I actually productive? I was running around like crazy, I'm super stressed, and I don't feel like I accomplished anything. That's not good for anybody. It's not good for your health, it's not good for your business, it's not good for your mindset, it's not good for your health. But if you have a roadmap, and if you have actual measurable steps written out, you can see and really kind of look at your business and where you're spending your time and evaluate that. Am I really getting the bang for my buck with what I'm doing there? Does that make sense? Instead of just throwing a bunch out and seeing what sticks, all of us have been in business, long enough that we can say, this really isn't valuable for my time. It's time to cut that out, and that's okay, right? But another thing, a guy that I listen to, he talks about vision all the time, and something that he said recently, Brian Buffini, his podcast, he was talking about a vision board. And he was like, I literally get a poster board, as old school and cheesy as it sounds, and if your goal, one of his goals was to get a house in Hawaii. So he cut out a picture of a gorgeous house on the ocean in Hawaii. And he was like, I'm literally doing the podcast today from that home. And he said that he has a camera in his home in California that shows his home in Hawaii, like the view from his back porch. And anytime throughout the day, his wife, his children, himself, they go and they sit in that office and they stare at that water. Even though they're in California and they have water, but Hawaii, I mean, let's get real, right? And he said that he not only imagined that he would reach the goal, but it was a fantastic podcast. I can share it because he can say it a lot better than me, but he said that he even planned out, like he bought the tickets because he was going to take everybody to Hawaii, like, you know, and his parents they're from Ireland and they had never even met his wife and his children. And what if I don't do that and they pass away? You know what I mean? So he went further into his, like, mentally, I have done that. He had walked the beach with his family, even though he had never done it yet. You know what I mean? So the mind is so incredibly powerful. And if we allow ourselves to actually dream and to see it and to physically walk it. I mean, the house that we're building right now, he and I have visually walked through it for like 15 years. And we're finally actually seeing that dream come to pass. But it is. And God wants us to reach those goals. He really does, because the more goals you obtain, the more on fire you become, the more grateful you become to Him, and then you share that to the world around you, and it creates a fire and a stirring in other people and in their spirits. So it's kind of a win-win. So some people want to say that you know, it's selfish for you to want to reach goals and be successful. And what is success? It doesn't mean necessarily monetarily. There's many ways to feel successful, right? So, sorry, I got...
Yeah, and I want everyone to take away and just remember that we do live in a great nation. They tell us it's the greatest in the world, right? I don't know if that's true or not. I know that the freedoms that we had years ago is not what we have now. I know that this place is not what it used to be, but we still live in the greatest nation, in my opinion. I don't know about other places. I've never been to Germany, but it's probably better here. Our opportunity in the nation is fantastic, but it's great in Texas. And in North Texas, it's a gold mine. This place is a gold mine. So we need to be encouraged today to seize that opportunity and to be excited about today. Today is the most valuable time that we'll ever have. Today may be the greatest day of our lives. We don't know. But today is the day the Lord has made. We're going to rejoice and be glad in it. We should be fired up to seize the day. Today should be mapped out, should be written out with what we need to do today to achieve the goal today. It's just like working out, which I am not the best at. But to hit a goal of losing 50 pounds and to gain X amount of muscle and do all these things, if I hit my goal today, I won. Correct, doctor? I won today, man. I mean, if I hit my goal today, I won. All I need to do is hit my goal tomorrow, and I'll win tomorrow. But today is all I've got. So I've got to pour it out. I've got to throttle down and go as hard as I can. And our goal is to go as hard as we can with work, and then to have that shut-off time and to be with our family. I pray everybody has a fantastic 24. Next week, we'll talk about goals and goal setting and strategic plans to hit those goals. And I didn't know if we had maybe questions or anything.
Well, I don't have a question, but I just want to thank you first of all. I think it's so great how you and Heather represent such a close-knit family that walk together, pray together, plan together. That's really inspiring. And a lot of what you were talking about, I also believe 100%. And it's a lot of the training that I get also. And just to add to, when you're talking about time, this always made a big impression on me when I heard it. Time spent in one area is time away from another. And like Heather was saying, we got to say, is what I'm doing right now benefiting my goals and my visions, and if it's not, delegate it. I think I heard you mention something that meant delegate things that other people can do, and so that you have more time. Anyhow, I appreciate all that. And also I do look at every day, and even in my business, as a faith journey. You know, obstacles and stuff like that just help us grow if we keep on going and don't stop. And so it's not always, it's about the personal growth. And with the personal growth comes the other things.
And that's what God's interested in. He's wanting us to grow as individuals. He's not really concerned about money. He's not concerned about money. Money comes from the world. Money comes from something that we created. And these pastors out there that are talking about, you know, give an X amount of dollars and God's going to bless you is propaganda. It's all lies. And that's not what he's here about. That's not what he died for on the cross for us. He wants us to transform as individuals, and we can only do that through his help, right? But our little job, and I told her this morning, you know, the Lord is our shepherd, we shall not be in want. So if we think about God as our shepherd, and Jesus called us sheep, so we are sheep. That's not really a great compliment. You know, sheep are not intelligent animals. So we're not all that great. Really, I've gotten to the very bottom of who I am, and I wasn't impressed, you know what I mean? I've done that a couple times. That was very rough. But God does the supernatural. We do the natural. So he's just asking us to write down a few things, to concentrate and work hard, and he will take care of the supernatural. When he raised Lazarus out of the tomb, he did something impossible. This man was dead for 3 days. God told him to rise and to walk out of the tomb. And then he told the people to take his bandages off, untie him, because he was bound and ready for the grave, right? I mean, what do you call that? In a tomb, or the wrapping. Jesus told that man to walk out of the tomb, which is impossible. Only God can do that. And he could have said bandages fall off of him, but he didn't. He told the people to go untie him. So God does the supernatural, and then mankind has to come in and do something in the natural, right? It's not rocket science. So we don't have a ton of responsibility on our shoulder to carry the weight of the world. We don't have that. He's just called us to be sheep. He wants me as the daddy sheep to take care of my mama sheep and the baby sheep. And God pins us in our territory. He takes us to still waters. He gives us food. He gives us shelter, and he protects us from the fowl outside. He protects us from the wolves outside. So we should be relaxed. We should be relaxed. We should be excited. We should be hopeful for the days to come up. This is going to be a good year. This is going to be as good as we make it. We have opportunity. We have opportunity this year, guys, to achieve our goals. So I pray that everybody has a fantastic day today, and to be ready next week. Next week is going to be a little bit more prepared. I've got more time next week to get this thing going. But bring some pen and paper with you. I'll have some handouts, and we'll get ready for everything. Is there any other questions anybody might
I
have?
saw somebody else.
Well, I was gonna share something on goals, and this was something actually, it's interesting, we just did our goals for our office on Monday for the year, but it says to set a goal so big that you can't achieve it until you grow into the person who can. So, granted, you gotta reach those goals too, but I think the big goals, some of them that we don't believe we could maybe get or haven't achieved, we do it, and then we become the person that can do it. And that means growth, like what you're talking about, letting the Lord take care of the heavy lifting, and you do your part.
Yeah, and I heard a man, and I'll get to him, I heard a man say that, I think Dave Ramsey said, if you want to become a millionaire, that's fine, but why? He said, if you got to hit a millionaire status, it's not the money that's the checkoff, it was the person that you had to become to get to that point. And we're so money hungry in this country, I don't want to get off on that tangent, but our lives are precious, our time is precious, yes ma'am.
I wanted to add something to when you were talking about trash in your mind. And the vision board does help with this. You put a vision on there, but I read a book called Ninja Selling, and basically what it said is every morning journal about 5 things that you're grateful for to change your mindset, what you're grateful for, and then like if you're shopping for a car or something, what do? You see that car everywhere because it's on your mind. So it said whatever you're wanting to reach, like if I want to work out every morning, I have to get up at 4. I don't want to get up at 4. So it said for 30 days, right, I love getting up at 4 a.m. I love getting up at 4 a.m. And your mind, at 4 a.m. you just wake up because you're renewing your mind to what is positive and what you want it to be like. So whatever your goal is, write it down and write it. It said don't write, I want to be debt free because that's negative. Right, I love being free and clear. I love being free and clear. You know, I mean, just keep it positive, but write it out every day to change the renewing of your mind and get that trash and negativity out.
Yeah, and the neuroscientists know by science, by fact, that we can hardwire and reprogram the way we think. That's up to us. And God's given us that ability. He did not throw us out into the world and let us figure that thing out. He's told us how to do it, but science has caught up to his scripture. Science is catching up to what he's told us. So this is all good news. We can reprogram everything that has gone in our mind. And they do know that the subconscious mind is set by the age from, I think, 3 to 5. So as little children, our subconscious mind is formed about our vision of the world, right? If we were raised by a dad that yelled at us, and we were raised by a hypocritical mom, and we had mean teachers and this and that, we were formed in that mindset. And that child grew to 27, he grew to 35, he grew to 54, and he's 67, and he's still running on that program. And God wants to change that program. That's the good news. God wants to change that program, and we have to have that thing written out. We have to concentrate on that thing. So I hope that this year we'll be able to allow God to do the supernatural. That's what I was saying. We don't have the power to change our own subconscious. That's God's deal. He wants to make us new creatures. So this is all good news. We got good news. It's going to be a good year for everybody. And like I said, next week will be a little bit more polished. Any other questions anybody has? Or statement? Good?
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.